Hey guys, Movie Junkie for Life here, and this is my review of Nocturnal Animals. Directed by Tom Ford and stars Amy Adams, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Michael Shannon, as well as Aaron Johnson. Now, this movie, it's gonna be a little hard for me to review this movie without actually telling you guys some stuff. So I think what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to review it, but I'm gonna try to explain it as well. So this review is gonna be one of my few reviews that actually has spoilers in it. This is not something I usually do, but this movie blew me away, and I just feel like I need to dissect it a bit with you guys so I can tell you what it is I got from it, because it's one of those movies that leaves you thinking and just going over everything you saw after you've seen it. So, Animals is a movie about an art gallery owner who she receives a novel from her ex husband, and that novel, she as she begins to read it, she begins to look back at their life together, and she begins to dissect the novel as almost like a veiled threat about what she has done to him and what his life has become. So, Nocturnal Animals. First of all, let me get into the directing and the writing is amazing. This year was so good for originality, and Amy Adams can say that she was in two of the most original, or should I say, movies that felt fresh and different. Arrival and now Nocturnal Animals. And Jake Gyllenhaal has been doing such amazing work. I hope he wins awards soon. I hope he's recognized soon for what he's doing, as well as the always incredible Michael Shannon. Y'all will probably, mainstreamers will know him better as Zod, but this man's body of work is insanely good. So good. Take Shelter. Oh my god. This man is even Bug. You have to see more of Michael Shannon's work. But let me get back into the movie. Tom Ford, fashion designer Tom Ford, has done an amazing job with this movie. It is artistic. You do see that artistic flair in this movie, but it works. It never feels forced. It never feels like style over substance. It works. Every frame of this movie is beautifully shot, and everything, even in the background, the foreground, the way that our actors are dressed, everything adds to this movie and to the story. So, my favorite aspect, of course, here being the story. The acting blew me away, the visuals were wonderful. Even the music could be so ominous at times, and the lack of it so perfect when it's there, or when it's not there. But the story, I want to get into the story. This movie it's a story within a story. We've seen this before, but never quite like this, because as she's reading the book, which is dedicated to her, she is picturing what is written in the book. Like when you read a book, you visualize everything you're seeing, but as she's reading it, she's realizing that he's writing about them, about the things that she did to destroy their marriage or to break them up, if you want to put it mildly, and the characters in the book represent her, they represent him, and they represent the things that he feels. So this is where I might get into a bit of a spoiler territory here. For those who've seen it, I think you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, or I hope my theories are correct. For those who haven't seen it, you can just skip all of this and know that I'm giving Nocturnal Animals a 9 out of 10. This movie absolutely blew me away. I loved this movie. I loved the look of this movie. There was not one time I was bored with this movie. There was not one time I felt like I wanted to jump forward or skip a part of it. Every part of this movie intrigued me. So I'm gonna get into the story a little bit about what I got from it. So in the movie, like I said, Amy Adams's character, she is she's reading the book that her ex-husband has written. And the book is about a man and his wife and daughter who goes on a road trip, and they end up getting into a bit of a car accident with some other ne'er-do-wells on the road, played by Aaron Johnson from Kick-Ass, and some people that I didn't recognize. Aaron Johnson is going to be my focus here. And of course, things go horribly, horribly wrong. This is the worst nightmare anybody could picture, and he loses his wife and daughter in very horrific and graphic way. And they show you what he's going through, what he went through. And Michael Shannon plays the deputy, or the sheriff, sorry, officer, who is helping him investigate the case, and who is helping him try to get justice for his wife and his daughter and for himself. And as this plays along, there are parts of me, for instance, Isla Fisher is in this as well, from Wedding Crashers, and recently Keeping Up with the Joneses. And the funny thing is, a lot of people mistake Isla Fisher for Amy Adams and vice versa. So it works so perfectly that they had Isla Fisher playing the role of the person in the book, of the character in the book, in this case the mother. The daughter character is also a redhead. So there, for instance, like I said, they do Aaron Johnson. He is magnificently horrible in this movie. It's a compliment. I have never seen him like this. I didn't even recognize him at first. I kept looking at him and saying, I think I know this person. And when it hit me who it was, I was like, oh my God, he is so creepy and so horrible and so menacing in this movie. And just the worst kind of human being you would ever want to come across. Yeah, I felt like Aaron Johnson's character, he's like all that anger and animosity and hatred. You know, he's everything the husband kind of the ex-husband, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, wished he could have done to his ex-wife Amy Adams. You know, I feel like that's what he represents in this story. And Michael Shannon's character, I felt like he was who he wished he was. He wished, because when they show you in flashbacks where she falls for him because he's sweet and he's romantic and he feels things so deeply, but then as things progress and they don't have the life that her mother tells her they should have, because she's from a wealthy family and she feels like they should be, you know, in that position in her life, she looks at him and she thinks he's weak. And we see that in the book, because the husband character in the book, he doesn't really fight back. He doesn't really fight for his wife and his daughter, and there's weakness in him. So I feel like, you know, that's I think the character's name is Edward. That's Edward, that he feels that weakness, you know. And then we have Michael Shannon being this strong type of character, this conscience almost, who's telling him he has to keep trying to find justice. And, you know, so that character to me represented strength and honor and kind of the man he wished he was, as opposed to the man that he is. There's also a scene in it as well after the wife and the daughter is discovered dead. I mean, we end up finding out that Amy Adams's character had an abortion, and she thought at this point in time she had met another man played by Armie Hammer, the man she's currently married to, and she had an abortion of her husband's child, which is horrible, and he knows, he's there outside the clinic. He saw what she did. And so in that scene where the daughter character is also murdered, you know, that's what he felt when she killed his child and she took away their life together. You know, that represented that. So there's a lot of moments like that, and it has you going back and forth, and it has you thinking. Now, the ending, I'm not going to get into. I'm deliberately not going to get into, because I think it's one of those endings, like the ending of Inception, where people argue whether or not what they're seeing is X or Y or Z. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. I personally think the ending represents that he has moved on with his life. It's also a form of revenge, because he kind of gets back at her for what he feels how he feels she has wronged him. And I feel like they both have turned a chapter, so to speak. And that is what that ending represents. It's the end of one novel and the beginning of another chapter of their life. So, guys, this movie is amazing. If you like movies that make you think, if you appreciate movies that are not just cookie cutters of other films, I highly recommend checking out Nocturnal Animals. And I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It's one of my top movies for 2016. I can't wait to see more from Tom Ford. I am now so eager to see what else he comes out with. This is one of those movies I actually want to get some time and sit and watch it again, maybe when it comes out on DVD, and really try to take it in and find all those things that I missed, and hopefully some of my theories are correct. Wonderful movie. 9 out of 10. Go check it out. And that's it, guys. Till next time. Bye bye.